So here we are back with Hooverphonic. So nice to meet you guys.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
I have an interview that is slightly different from what you're probably used to. But first, I need to ask about how did you come up with the staging of your song? It is so stunning.
Well, the staging, if you've seen our video, we're quite into kind of movies, old movies. We're always inspired. Our music is actually inspired by movies. So for us, it became quite, fast clear that we wanted that to kind of translate that kind of old movies kind of vibe to the stage. So that's why you have the background projections are inspired by. I don't know if you ever heard of the film. It's a silent movie from the 30s. Das Kabinett as Dr. Caligari. It's like a German movie, so that's kind of the influence for the background projections. The piano, of course, is the influence from old westerns, Morricone, and the dress is actually it's very Hooverphonic. But with Hooverphonic, we were always inspired by kind of B movies as well, like Barbarella. Like these kind of cult movies. So all these things we wanted to kind of put together and then get like a film noir kind of vibe, So it's a combination of things, and that's why also the cameras move really slowly. It's like it's two steady cam guys, and they kind of have to kind of do a very strict ballet of filming. So it's it looks very very sober, but actually technically it's quite difficult, to be honest.
Yeah, and it stands out so much among all the other more up-tempo, more like busy performances. So yeah. It is really, really gorgeous.
Yeah, that was one thing we wanted to, we said to the VRT when they asked us to kind of participate, we said we want to go as Hooverphonic. We're not going to do something especially for Eurovision. It's just going to be, our next single, and then not just our next single. We wrote a lot of songs to kind of before we actually said yes. But it's the only way for us to do it is to stand out and to be different. Otherwise it wouldn't make sense for us.
Be ourselves.
Yeah.
Be ourselves. Just like we are the last 25 years,
And I think that really comes across that this is something that you are part of more than something that you've been given.
Yeah. It's for us. It's also it's a lot of fun. A lot of people ask us why do you participate? You already have a career. Well, we just like the festival already for years since we were kids. Me and Raymond, watched it. Belgique watched it when she was young. Me and Raymond, we kept on watching it. I'm still watching every year if I'm at home, if we're not on tour. But even sometimes on tour, I still remember in 2005, I think, when Lordi won. We were playing a gig in Istanbul, and then even in the backstage, we were watching Eurovision. When we got off stage, we saw the
final and then the points.
Yeah, the jury kind of points. At that time there was not a public vote yet. It was a long time ago, and then Lordi won. So. Yeah. And it's funny how music is some kind of. It brings back memories, So every time I hear that song, I think about that backstage. I think about that show. I think about what was really cool and hip at that time, like Kylie Minogue, I Can't Get You Out of My Head, was really all over MTV at that point. Remember MTV? We're that old. We watched MTV,
I'm with you.
I watched it in black and white.
Yeah, he did actually.
The first one I saw, what I remember was 1966. Can you imagine the whole lion? You can go way back more.
We made a Spotify playlist, and there's a lot of old songs in there as well, but also new songs like Salvador Sobral and Duncan, and Lake Malawi. And there's a lot of different. I have to say, we lost it a little in the 90s, I guess. In the 90s, we were a little kind of. Although I watched Urban Thread become second.
Yeah.
Back then it was with beer and pizza. Nowadays it's on WhatsApp with my friends. Talking about what do you think? Who's gonna win? And I have to say, there's a lot of credible people who really it's their guilty pleasure. They will never allow, they never they admit they watch it, but they do watch it, you know.
Yeah.
We're not afraid.
I think it's about time it goes from being a guilty pleasure to just being a pleasure.
Totally.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, but that's also why we wanted to participate this year, because we think last 10 years it became a bit more serious again. You have like, you know, this year as well, if you hear Bulgaria, it's really nicely done. If you hear France, it's really like, you know, it's not just show and up-tempo electronic tracks. There's like room for all kinds of genres, even new metal. Imagine, you know, like who would ever have thought new metal would become popular again? Fred Durst will be very proud to hear Finland this year, but it's good. I like the diversity. Yeah, that's what makes it fun. I always say to people, it's not meant to kind of please you every time, you know. It's not meant that you shouldn't like every track. No, you should have like your favorites in the show, and then you should also sometimes think like, oh, this is not my cup of tea. That's just the fun of it, you know. Like it's and everybody has a different opinion.
It's very clear that you've listened to the other entries.
Oh yeah.
If you got to make your own version out of one of the others, which one would you pick? What would you do to it?
We already did, actually. We recorded a very kind of short version of the Wrong Voila this week. You know, it's, the Wrong Voila. Yeah, that's what it's called, the Wrong Voila. You'll see it pass like next few days. We'll probably let it.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that.
Put it online. So and it's quite funny. You should listen. She's very Piaf, you know. Jerke is another French kind of artist from the Belgian artist from the 50s, 60s. But we're not saying who. You have to listen and then let us know what you think. You know?
Ooh, I'm looking forward to listening to this. Okay, so I have this sort of interview where I give you an either or. So I'm going to give you two options and you choose one of them, and feel free to elaborate if you want to.
Okay, cool.
So do you prefer summer or winter?
Winter.
Summer.
Water or wine?
Water or wine?
Water.
For the moment, water, because I don't drink alcohol anymore, so water. Yeah? You?
Wine.
Wine. No, he actually likes White Russian better. You know?
Yeah, but I have my water now, so I mean,
late nights or early mornings?
Early morning.
Late nights.
Late night.
Reading
a book or watching a movie?
Difficult.
Both.
I like both, yeah. You know, to be honest, you know, like when I love reading, but I still use my imagination, and, you know, I'm creative all day. So watching a movie can kind of shut down my thinking a bit. So for me, I need to kind of do something like that just to kind of take a step back from what I'm doing. So maybe watching a movie, although I really love reading and I read a lot, but with reading, you still have to imagine everything. And so it doesn't stop me from being creative. And sometimes it doesn't stop to be more creative the next day.
So a movie.
Yeah, movie.
I have a book. I prefer a book.
I'm gonna read a book while I'm watching a movie. Is that
My dad did that.
Do you prefer chocolate or potato chips?
Oh, come on. That is really difficult. Every day I have chocolate and every day I have potato chips. It's like, if I had to choose, I'm going to an island. What do I take with me?
Chips.
Yeah, potato chips, I guess.
Chips, yeah, for me too, chips, yeah.
Although,
Life is
you're torturing me here, you know, like on an island, probably chocolate gives you more energy, but then
or the salt will keep
the
hydration.
Hydration, yeah. So, chips. Okay, here we go. Can we also choose which brand? I like those Spanish ones with, you know, like they're really good, and these paper bags.
Yeah,
they're fantastic.
Yeah. Great, yeah.
Sorry. Needs to be short.
Do you prefer dressy or casual?
I like casual chic.
Yeah. Same. Casual chic, yeah.
But actually, I like rock and roll. Let's say dressy. Come on, it's like, you know, we are always on stage. I think there's only one tour in our whole career that we were wearing jeans. Otherwise, we're always in suits, always dressed up. Look, we're now even dressed up. So now, so Yeah, no.
Yeah, you always look very chic.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
but
you.
we're always very chic. It's not just for the interviews, you know, it's just who we are, I guess.
Yeah. You're both songwriters and singers or artists. Which part of the process do you prefer the most? I know this is kind of like picking between your children, but if you had to.
For me, it's not difficult. I like writing songs. That's for me is like, you know, is my main thing. I love to write music. That's the only thing I really need as a therapy to stay healthy and like mentally sane. So for me, it's very simple. The creative part of creating a song or a piece of music is for me. I think it's different for the three of us.
Yeah, I prefer the moment where you're on stage and you're exchanging with the public. It's, that communication is really
Me too. Yeah.
fulfilling.
Performing.
I mean, yeah, that's the most, the clearest one. Yeah.
And I think we're running out of time.
No, we still have to.
Okay. If you had to choose, do you prefer singing in your own language or in English?
English. Flemish is really difficult to sing in. It's not a very poetic. Well, it's a poetic language, but not sonically, like for music. So
well, there are people that do.
There are people who do a good job, but actually I write sometimes in Dutch. But you know, isn't it all about communicating? And in English, you just reach out to a way bigger audience worldwide. It's like everybody can understand what you're singing about. In Flemish, it's even, it's just what is it? It's million people in the world that can understand you. And if you sing in dialect, then it's even 6 million, because then the Dutch are always like, what are they singing about? So English, definitely, yeah.
And the last one, do you prefer singing or listening to, or both maybe, ballads or up-tempo songs?
Oh.
Well, as a singer, I do enjoy analyzing ballads to see what the singer is doing, but yeah, I mean, it's not really ballads that I listen to most, definitely not most of the time, but up tempo it's not either. So it's,
I think you know, like the question should be melancholic or happy music, and then it's very easy, melancholic music. So if it's a happy ballad and it's a melancholic up tempo, I would pick the up tempo, because the melancholy is what we like, the bittersweetness in life, and so definitely the tempo is not important as long as it's melancholic and it gets to you.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much for taking the time to talk to us, and best of luck in your semi. And I really, really hope to see you in the final on Saturday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.